Well, I dare say working women, they live well and they live longer, they age better. Now, how can one stand up to the other gender at work, especially during management meetings? Let's hear this. This is quite a challenge that female leaders face, especially in the workplace. However, I believe that it's essential to be yourself as a woman. One should put aside the mentality that I am a woman. I'm already going to be looked down on. I need to act a certain way because that can affect the way I think even before one enters a meeting or relates to any colleague. The important thing is the value you can bring to the table. What are you bringing to the table? That can make a whole range of difference, which is different for every individual. That's why no organization puts one person at the management table. It should be a team. And that team is supposed to bring diversity in terms of exposure, experience, knowledge, know-how, what have you. If one is trying to make a point in a meeting and kind of one is interrupted or you are being interrupted in a subtle manner that is not disrupting the meeting, just ignore it and make your own point. Perhaps this can be an instance. But if the interruption disrupts the meeting, there is nothing wrong with saying, please let me finish, and continue to make your point. If you are on that table, there is some value that you are definitely going to bring to bear. So it is important to be yourself and play on your strengths. Now, at times you become so familiar with employees. So how can you be firm without damaging relationships, especially if you are a female leader? Hear this. It is not advisable to become over familiar with any staff members, especially with someone who is reporting to you. You don't have to be impolite to your colleague regardless of the level that they currently are. Still, you can't become too familiar such that it becomes hectic to dish out disciplinary measures when necessary. Having said that, if this line has been crossed, remedying it will have to be a gradual process if you don't want to jeopardize the relationship. Perhaps you start to draw boundaries and withdraw gradually so that the person doesn't notice, and then it just becomes a natural progression where you can pull back a little bit and focus more on tasks. This can be done without it affecting the organization's deliverables. Sometimes one might not have the luxury of time to pull back gradually. If the relationship affects your ability to execute an urgent project you are working on, you might have to directly have a conversation addressing it. Let's use some of these challenges too. Again, how can a first-time mother manage home, baby, and career all together, bearing in mind that she also wants to switch or change jobs? This is another challenge faced by women in the workplace. Well, there is this phrase, you need a strong support system. You cannot do it alone. And so what do I mean by that? With families, you know them very well, and you know their behaviors, you know their extent of discipline, so you can hope in them. perhaps slightly on friends, nannies, but you have to be very careful, extra cautious. Work will happen and you might not be able to do these things. You need to have people that are ready and waiting to pick up where you left off. Ask for support at work when you need it. Professions too is the ability to plan. It is always said, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. When you plan, this will help you personally, and it will allow you to spread yourself across all the responsibilities you have. If you don't plan your days ahead, things will get tangled up quickly. Especially as a career woman looking to change jobs, you have to perform on your current job and deliver. This will help you personally with your growth and confidence to change jobs. Even the company itself will wholeheartedly give you references. You need to settle and make sure you are back on top of things before applying for a job. If you just started a job, you might not be able to ask for support at that particular time, but of course, you can always ensure you have a strong family support climate. Cheers to all women.